Yeah. College Go Week wrapping up. Welcome to the reading quiz on Friday. Because even in college, you have tests and quizzes. Duh. You have tests and quizzes no matter what you do. College, tests and quizzes. Training, Heartland Career Center, congratulations. You got to pass a certification test. I'm going to the military. I'm going to not have to take tests there. ASFAB. Come on now. So get used to this kind of thing. All right. So let's get to it. There are going to be 3 articles. Count them. 3 articles on this quiz. Are you going to read all 3? No. You should have already read this one, and I'm going to pass. The first couple questions on this quiz are going to ask that you use this article to help you out. Next, a straight up geography, just out of the blue, coming off the top ropes. You guys are going on a road trip to different states. So this is an article about what the state actually is. It's cool. So here we go. Article 2. States, provinces, parishes, and wards. Oh my, what does it all mean? The exact number of country subdivisions in the world is hard to know, at least for now. Your question has actually sparked scholars to start talking about compiling an official authoritative database. Probably should have started this off by saying that's the question. How many states or provinces or other divisions are there in the world? From NOAA, age 8, Minneapolis. So right now, the best estimates are somewhere between 3,600 and 5,200 across the world's roughly 200 nations. The number depends on whether the data comes from specific nations' own information, the CIA World Factbook, or the International Standards Organization. There are 195 national governments recognized by the United Nations, but there are as many as 9 other places with nation-like governments. This includes places like Taiwan and Kosovo, though they are not recognized by the United Nations. Most of these countries are divided into smaller sections. For example, the United States is broken up into 50 states, along with territories like Puerto Rico and Guam, and a federal district, Washington, D.C. These smaller subdivisions are not all called states, though. The following are just a few examples of other names that are used around the world. Switzerland has cantons. Bangladesh has divisions. Cameroon has regions. Germany has landers. Jordan has governorates. Montserrat has parishes. Zambia has provinces. Japan has prefectures. What up? Most countries have some type of major subdivision. Even tiny Andorra, tucked in the Pyrenees Mountains between France and Spain, has 7 parishes. Slovenia has the most with 212 subdivisions. They have 201 municipalities called obscene and 11 urban municipalities called mens obscene. Singapore, Monaco, and Vatican City are small city-states. These 3 nations have what are called tiny unitary governments, which are not divided into smaller sections. Dividing governing power between national and subnational levels is called federalism. I thought that was only an American thing. Yeah, well, the American government helped inspire these countries. It lets countries organize large areas of land and large numbers of people, handling different interests of diverse groups, often with different languages, religions, and ethnic identities. National governments still control international relations, military power, the printing and issuing of money, and banking systems. They control things that affect everyone in a country equally. But states, provinces, cantons, and the like let local government groups have some amount of say over topics such as the following: healthcare, education, policing, and other issues where needs can vary a lot from one area to another. Variations in laws and regulations benefit people in a couple of different ways. First, people can leave one area and move to another that has laws or policies more to their liking. In addition, different regions can try various approaches to solving particular problems, such as educating all children or providing healthcare in rural areas. They then can identify which methods are more effective. Federal systems also make it easier for citizens to join government by running for office, including challenging the current office holders. It is much cheaper and less complicated to seek support from voters in a smaller area. Regional or local government agencies can also make better use of local knowledge. These agencies can know more about the geography or historical traditions to govern people in ways that fit their needs. There are some drawbacks, though. Some regions may have laws and rules that expand business opportunities or protect the environment, while other regions may have fewer business regulations or more damaged landscapes. Problems like that can mean people who live near one another, but in different states, have unequal qualities of life. And sometimes provincial governments can slow the progress of major national initiatives meant to benefit everyone. But most countries seem to have decided that the positives outweigh the negatives. And in fact, they've gone even deeper into federalism. Beyond states and provinces, there are many even smaller units of government. In the United States, states are made up of counties. These counties are then made up of towns, cities, or other municipal governments. There are many more thousands of these. The database of global administrative areas tallies 386,735 of them. Brazil alone has 5,570 municipalities. India has 250,671 village councils called Gram Panchayats. Even those are divided into smaller districts called wards. Each ward votes for its own council members. So I can't give you a specific answer right now, but maybe one day soon we'll know. There you go. Article 2. It was about states and provinces and wards and whatnot, and what all of that even means. Oh, physical geography. Wow, we're just going on like we're doing like human geography. Like, what? How do we divide the world? Now we're talking about hurricanes. That's right. One of you jokers emailed me earlier this year and wanted to do something on hurricanes. So hats off. I don't know why this picture isn't loading right now. It'll hopefully load for like when you actually have it. Article 3. What is a hurricane storm surge? Of all the hazards hurricanes bring, storm surge is the greatest threat to life and property along the coast. It can sweep homes off their foundations, flood riverside communities miles inland, and break up dunes and levees that normally protect coastal areas against storms. But what exactly is storm surge? What storm surge looks like from the shore? As a hurricane reaches the coast, it pushes a huge volume of ocean water onto the shore. This is what we call storm surge. This surge appears as a gradual rise in the water level as the storm approaches. Storm surge flooding can last for several hours. It then recedes after the storm passes. Water level heights during a hurricane can reach 20 feet or more above normal sea level. With powerful waves on top of it, a hurricane storm surge can cause catastrophic damage. What determines how high a storm surge gets? Storm surge begins over the open ocean. The strong winds of a hurricane push the ocean waters around and cause water to pile up under the storm. The low air pressure of the storm also plays a small role in lifting the water level. The height and extent of this pile of water depends on the strength and size of the hurricane. As this pile of water moves toward the coast, other factors can change its height and extent. The depth of the seafloor is one factor. If a coastal area has a seafloor that gently slopes away from the coastline, it's more likely to see a higher storm surge than an area with a steeper drop off. Gentle slopes along the Louisiana and Texas coasts have contributed to some devastating storm surges. Hurricane Katrina's surge in 2005 broke levees and flooded New Orleans. Hurricane Ike's 15 to 17-foot storm surge and waves swept hundreds of homes off Texas's Bolivar Peninsula in 2008. Both were large, powerful storms that hit in vulnerable locations. The shape of the coastline can also shape the surge. When a storm surge enters a bay or river, the geography of the land can act as a funnel, sending water even higher. Other factors that shape storm surge. Ocean tides are caused by the gravity of the moon and sun. The tides can also strengthen or weaken the impact of a storm surge. So it's important to know the timing of the local tides compared to the hurricane landfall. At high tide, the water is already at an elevated height. If landfall happens at high tide, the storm surge will cause even higher water levels and bring more water further inland. North and South Carolina saw those effects when Hurricane Isaias hit close to high tide on August 3rd, 2020. Isaias brought a storm surge of about 4 feet at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but the water level was more than 10 feet above normal. Yeesh. This is what a storm surge looks like. Ew. Speaking of this kind of thing, there's a video in your quiz. If you're taking the quiz right now, I'm pretty sure you can click play on that video. It's not going to play any sound. So you're okay to watch that video. And I guarantee you some of you are still going to ask me,
Mr. Wenrich, can we please watch the video in class?
Yeah, please. Do it now. And if there's sound on the quiz, my bad. I don't think there's any sound. All right, back to this article. Sea level rise is another growing concern that influences storm surge. As water warms, it expands. Warmer water has slowly raised sea level over the past century as global temperatures have risen. Fresh water from melting ice sheets and glaciers has also added to sea level rise. Together, they elevate the background of ocean height. When a hurricane arrives, the higher ocean means storm surge can bring water further inland to a more dangerous and widespread effect. Wow. So, yeah, that's not great. All right. Hurricanes, states, and college sports. College go reap. Go reap? What? I am not going back and making this video again, even though I just screwed up my ending. I'm going to do that again. College go week. College athletes, but we're in geography. So we read an article about states and wards and provinces. We also just read an article about hurricane storm surge. It's almost like geography is a random subject because it is what it do. Have a great weekend, y'all. See you Monday. Yeah. Geography, baby. Yes.